are we really putting LeBron in the same category as Steph Curry? Don't Steph and KD deserve their own, or the guys, the Greek freak?
Giannis.
How can we put them up there
Luka.
with the top,
Austin
the
Reeves.
Michael Jordan, the Kobe Bryant, and the LeBron James?
I think it's a legitimate question. No, you're right. I think what I tried to say was that this has been perceived to be the LeBron James era of basketball, basically from the moment that Kobe handed him that
Finals
torch.
for like 16 years or something.
Yeah, he made. I think it was 9 years in a row. Magic Johnson. I remember one night I was watching, and he introduced LeBron James in an interview when I think Magic was working for. It might have even been on ABC. I don't remember. And he said, "LeBron, you're the best player in the world." Like that. That's the mantle that we're talking about here. And it has been assumed by everyone that this is LeBron's era. There are some people who will tell you they think LeBron is historically a greater player than Michael Jordan. What I'm asking is, if Steph Curry wins another championship, if he's got multiple regular season MVPs, if he winds up having multiple finals MVPs, if he winds up breaking all the records that he has, if he winds up doing it all for one franchise and wins 5 championships and basically revolutionizes the sport as we know it, then does he stake a claim to actually having ownership of the era?
He's in
I
the
think
combo,
most people would say no. I think it has to. Pac-Man, you're telling me you don't think it's a legitimate conversation? I think Durant is a step down. Giannis, it's too soon. We got to wait and see what Giannis becomes. But Steph, I think, is an immortal on that level. And I think if he wins another one with the same group, I mean, there's something to be said for that. You know, there's something to be said for doing it as part of a dynasty. LeBron goes from place to place, and I'm not knocking him at all. LeBron 100% deserves to be considered amongst the greatest players of all time. He's on my Mount Rushmore of basketball history, 4 guys. But Steph would be, if you wanted to make an argument for Steph, if he wins another one with this team, you could make a pretty compelling argument if you wanted to.
I think so, especially as you lay it all out right there.
Yep.
And who knows how long Steph's going to be able to go for. Remember, he's cracking all-time records, and he's still got no end in sight, it appears, for Steph Curry. He's fun to watch. He has changed the game, too, giving a lot more people hope. But LeBron, I mean, to your point, I am also a LeBron fan. He said he went to 9 straight finals or whatever, but then he took a year off, and then he was back the next year. I mean, he is in the prime time of basketball, which is right now, the playoffs.
20 years.
LeBron has been there since he got into the league pretty much as a high schooler. And in high school, everybody's saying this guy was supposed to do exactly what he's done. His mental toughness and ability to kind of stick with it is something that should not ever be questioned. They're playing 2 different styles of basketball, don't you think, Michael and LeBron, Granny? I mean, 2 different
of course.
2 different sports. 2 different sports, almost.
You're talking about Michael and LeBron or Steph and LeBron?
Mike and LeBron. Well, there's a whole nother one. And Steph brings in a whole nother era of basketball, I think, as a sport. I was watching that Last Dance documentary. I didn't grow up in an NBA town. I'm from Pittsburgh, hockey town. Good luck, Boston. We'll see you in the playoffs.
Maybe, just
Penguins
win.
are about to make their way in there. Didn't grow up in an NBA town, so I didn't watch a lot of NBA other than the Lakers late night because the Late Show was awesome growing up with Shaq and Kobe and everybody over there. So I didn't really pay attention to basketball as much. I watched that Last Dance. I saw people dribbling up to their nipples, Greeny. I saw people dribbling like this. I saw, you know what I mean? I saw some skill level that was vastly different than what the skill level is now. I understand it was much more physical back then. So you can ask the question, like, could LeBron survive back then? He's 6'8", 260 if he wanted to be. I think he could have. He's an Ohio fuck too, so I assume he would be tough enough to kind of figure it out if he had to. Jordan, I think he could have figured out this basketball very easily. Like Jordan would have dominated in this era, especially with his competitive juices. But it's 2 different sports, isn't it?
It's 2 different sports. Not only has the game changed, but analytics have changed the game forever. I will say this definitively. I will say this, and I will challenge anyone to debate this with me anytime they want. Let the record show. You grew up in a hockey town. I grew up in this business covering Michael Jordan. I was with him every day for 4 years. I started out working in Chicago locally, and I covered him and those teams. I covered him. I went and followed him to baseball when he went down to play baseball. So I was around Jordan all the time. If Michael Jordan played in today's NBA, he would average 40 points a game. He would average 40 points a game. We got guys averaging 33 now. Michael Jordan never shot threes because no one shot threes back then. Michael Jordan's numbers should be viewed almost, his scoring numbers should almost be viewed in the same context as Jerry West's. Go back and look at his last championship in '98. Someone, while we're sitting here, pull up what the final scores of those games were. The legendary games, the flu games and all that stuff, those games were 88-86.
College
That's how these
basketball.
games were being played. And Jordan averaged 30 in those games. Games today are being played 120 to 115. Michael Jordan, with the addition of threes, with how much less physical the game is and how hard he would play every night when half the league is load managing, Michael Jordan would average 40 points a game if he played in the NBA today.
How much fun would that be to watch?
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
I wish they would have innovated basketball quicker, like at the beginning, like to get basketball to this point. Because the three-point line, what year was that instituted, Greeny?
It was in the sport in the late 70s, I think 79 or something.
How come it was never viewed as a,
three.
yeah, why was it never viewed as a weapon? It was a wasted shot?
It was, well, it just wasn't considered to be the highest percentage shot, and analytics weren't a part of the conversation that much, and people figured if you had a better chance of making a closer one, you would do it. Michael Jordan, if you look up the total, I don't have it in front of me, I wish I did, but I have done this research. If you look up the total number of threes, the night Michael Jordan shrugged like this, which was game 2 against Portland in '92, I was in the building when it happened, when he made the 6 threes in the first half. Steph Curry does that now all the time. We were losing our minds. Oh, my God, Michael Jordan just took 6 threes and made 6 threes and a half. That's not uncommon in today's game. And if Jordan was playing in today's game, it wouldn't be uncommon for him either. Jordan, for his career, scored more points per game than any other player in NBA history in an era where scoring was at practically an all-time low. If you had, there are points being scored in the NBA right now. I don't have the percentages in front of me. I bet you they're scoring on average 20 points more per game right now than they were during the height of Michael Jordan's career. So 20%, I should say. So if you had 20% to his offensive totals, then you would get the number 40 or something a little higher than that. And that's what I think he would average in the NBA today.
In that 98 finals, where he averaged 33 and a half, he took 7 total threes in 6 games.
Damn.
And was 3 of 7 from.
And he would have been able to figure out the
And how many points were they scoring? What were the final scores? What were their scores in those games? He averaged 33. How many points did the Bulls score? Just what were the numbers of points they scored in those games?
81.
85, 93.
96 there.
86.
96.
Nowhere near.
96 would be a
right
ridiculously low-scoring game today. Jordan scored a third of their points.
81 is the low. 96 is the high.
Nuts.
And he averaged 33 in the series.
Without taking that many threes, too, Greeny.
Played every game, too.
Whoa.
Always.
Hell yeah.
In the last 3
Which is
seasons of Jordan's career in Chicago, 96, 97, and 98, Michael Jordan played 82, 82, and 82 regular season games.
That's awesome.
There will never, ever be Michael Jordan again. All these guys are great. LeBron is an all-time great. He deserves all the accolades in the world. No one is Michael Jordan, and no one is ever going to be again.